Return to a time when daily life revolved around printed newspapers, rotary phones, and heartfelt conversations in person. The 1970s and 1980s marked a transformative chapter in American culture as music, fashion, and technology advanced in ways few could have predicted.
Filled with unimaginable hardships, but her smile reveals remarkable resilience, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of the Victorian working class. In 1910, hungry children, the children of dockworkers in London, eagerly await food donations in the East End. Wearing ragged clothes and many barefoot, they reflect the harsh reality of urban poverty amid the inequalities of the industrial era. In 1890, a woman poses beside a child, possibly her daughter, on a bustling street in the port city of Liverpool, in the northwest of England. In the early 1900s, a bustling street scene captures life in Withington, a vibrant suburb of Manchester. Around 1912, in Blackpool, a lively seaside town in northwest England, a young man holds a young woman in the sea waters. In 1877, photographer John Thompson captures a group of Victorians outside an inn on Whitechapel Road in London, with a solitary child surrounded by adults. During the Victorian era, when the age of consent was only 13, the photo reflects the complex and often perplexing social and familial norms of the time. In 1916, the St. John Ambulance Brigade and the Royal Army Medical Corps wait at Snow Hill Station in Birmingham for the arrival of a train carrying wounded soldiers from World War I. The tireless care of returning soldiers was an exhausting task, carried out 24/7, reflecting the sacrifice and dedication of healthcare workers in times of war. In 1880, a mother and daughter watch in awe the bustling activity on the River Thames in London as a majestic tall ship glides through the waters, gracefully escorted by a sturdy steam tug. Contrast between the age of sail and the rise of industrial technology. A couple gently navigates a river in the picturesque landscapes of the Norfolk Broads in 1886, with a house and a windmill in the background, capturing the serenity of Victorian rural life. A charming photograph from 1894 shows a female street vendor standing next to her lemonade can, serving a boy outside Greenwich Park, London. In 1877, a group of flower girls proudly pose in Covent Garden, famous in London's West End for being a vibrant flower market hub. The scene captures the energy of the market, where these women, often from the working class, were an essential part of daily life and local culture. In the early 1900s, hop-picking families arrive at the vast fields of Kentish in Kent, England's countryside. Before mechanization, the harvest required hard, intensive labor, leading farmers to hire temporary workers, many of whom came from the city seeking extra income and fresh air. Around 1877, a street vendor roams the busy streets of Victorian London, offering cough lozenges. Amid the pollution and soot-filled air of the industrial city, these popular remedies were a promise of relief for the working-class population. In 1908, a young woman elegantly dressed, possibly from the upper class, walks the streets of London during the Edwardian era. In the background, the bustling Kensington Church Street showcases the city's lively activity. In 1901, a family evicted from a slum in London watches as their few belongings are scattered across the street, a harsh reflection of urban poverty. For the poorest residents, the constant fear of eviction was a harsh reality. Around 1890, Reverend Fletcher Sutherland poses with his 7 daughters, known for their long and impressive hair. In the Victorian era, women's hair was a symbol of status and femininity, and the Sutherland sisters gained fame for their luxuriant locks, which challenged the beauty standards of the time. Around 1890, a photograph of the Countess of Clancarty, born Isabel Maud Penrhys Bilton in 1867, showcases her elegance and sophistication. The daughter of a sergeant in the Royal Engineers, she was a notable actress and vocalist on stage, where she performed under the artistic name Belle Bilton. In the early 1900s, several people walk along Radcliffe Stand Lane in Manchester, reflecting everyday life in a rapidly growing city. Around 1900, 2 old friends are photographed sharing a drink in a tavern in the picturesque village of Bidford-on-Avon in Warwickshire. Around 1913, a photograph captures a lively day by the seaside in Broadstairs, where women and children play in the waves, paddle, and relax on the sand. In the background, a long row of traditional bathing machines lines the beach. In August 1921, 3 young women, dressed in typical swimsuits of the time, enjoy the refreshing waters of Herne Bay, a charming seaside town on the northern coast of Kent. On September 30th, 1906, one of the last horse-drawn trams travels through the streets of Nechells, Birmingham, marking the end of an era. Soon, the advancement of electrification would transform urban transport, replacing traditional horses with faster and more efficient electric trams. Around 1916, female tannery workers played a crucial role in the industry during World War I. With many men fighting on the front lines, they took on essential jobs in factories and workshops. Around 1900, the young actress Mabel Green, born Mabel Gladys Coomber in Notting Hill, London, is portrayed during her rise in the theatrical scene. In 1877, a group of recruiting sergeants from the British Army gathers outside a public house in Westminster, London. Around 1910, a couple proudly poses in front of their modest cottage in Whitby, reflecting the simplicity and tranquil life of the English countryside. Around 1911, a street scene in Whitechapel captures the harsh reality of life in London's East End, a poor area marked by bustling alleyways, street vendors, and workers struggling to survive amid the growing urbanization of the industrial era. Around 1880, a lady closely watches 2 children sitting on the stone steps of her house in Whitby, North Yorkshire, England. With roots dating back to the Viking era, this picturesque coastal town carries centuries of history, reflected in its streets and the lives of its inhabitants. An authentic scene of rustic rural life in Victorian England. A group of men gathered around a knife grinder in 1857, symbolizing the hard work and traditions of the time. An unusual scene on the streets of London in 1913. An eccentric gentleman travels through the city in his carriage, pulled by a zebra, drawing curious glances and challenging the conventions of the time. A mother rests on the stone steps with her 2 children after a day of hard work, portraying the simplicity and challenges of rustic rural life in Victorian England in 1857. Women and children gather in front of the common lodging houses in Whitechapel, London, around 1890. These lodging houses, located on the destitute Flower and Dean Street, were a precarious refuge for the poorest, also home to at least 2 of Jack the Ripper's victims. A view of the historic Garth Castle in Newcastle upon Tyne in 1898. On the left, a woman leans on the doorstep of a shop, while in the background, the imposing arch of the Black Gate adds a medieval touch to the scene. In 1884, an ice cream vendor at his handcart serves several customers in Greenwich, London, offering a refreshing break from the busy streets of the city. Several people and tourists enjoy the elegant atmosphere of the promenade in Scarborough, North Yorkshire, around 1890, with the iconic Spa building and bandstand in the background, while the majestic Grand Hotel stands out on the right, shrouded in a soft mist. In 1889, the young daughter of a fisherman poses on the doorstep of her home in the picturesque Robin Hood's Bay, North Yorkshire, England. In 1901, a man sells meat as cat food outside a poor house in the East End of London. These street vendors would roam the streets with their handcarts, offering slaughterhouse scraps, usually horse meat, to feed the cats during a time of extreme scarcity and inventive survival. A classic view of St. Ives Harbour in the 1890s, filled with boats and the shoreline bustling with intense fishing activity. Once a thriving hub of the fishing industry, the coastal town lived to the rhythm of the tides, with fishermen and merchants moving their daily livelihood. A charming scene from the 1880s shows women in Barry Square, Whitby, a picturesque coastal area where much of the fishing community lived and worked. The location, steeped in maritime history, was the heart of daily life for fishermen and their families. In October 1912, dairy women, dressed in their finest clothes, showcased their skills at a prestigious dairy exhibition at the Agricultural Hall in Islington, London. In the 1920s, a group of beachgoers poses for a photo on a sunny day at Weymouth Beach in southern England. Taken around 1902, this photo of Dorset Street, known as the worst street in London, captures the harsh reality of the area, which became sadly infamous due to its connection to the case of Mary Jane Kelly. She, an Irish woman, is believed to have been one of the last victims of Jack the Ripper. In 1919, the imposing British airship R-33 rests in its hangar as it prepares for its first flight at an airfield in Barlow, Yorkshire. Built by Armstrong Whitworth and completed after World War I, the R-33 was a milestone in aerospace engineering, inspired by the German airships captured during the conflict.